This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is made possible by Beth and Mike Andrews, Kelly Byers and Tom Wagner, Elizabeth and Grant Bogus. We thank them for their support and for connecting you, our listeners, with candidates so you'll be informed voters this primary season. You can give to Simple Civics too. Just visit our website at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. On Tuesday, June 9th, South Carolina holds its statewide primary elections. I'm Katie Smith with Greater Good Greenville, and over the next several weeks, we are pleased to bring you interviews with most of the candidates in contested races that are in Greenville County. Today, we feature candidates for the Republican primary for Greenville County Council District 28, an area that has in its center the interchange of I-385 and the 185 Southern Connector. Whichever candidate wins in June will go on to face the Democratic candidate, Thomas Sanders, on the November 3rd ballot. But first, a quick primer on why primaries are so important. The statewide primaries are when political parties choose their candidates to be on the ballot in the general election on November 3rd. This primary on June 9th will be for important offices like State House of Representatives, Governor, State Superintendent of Education, Congress, and one of our U.S. Senate seats, and our Greenville County Council. Some of these primary races will determine the winner in November because no one from a different party has filed to run, meaning that practically speaking, the June 9th primary is the election. In South Carolina, we don't register to vote by party, and all primaries are open, meaning you're free to vote in either the Republican or Democratic primary ballot. Of course, there are other parties, but they don't have a primary in our state. We did an episode that explains how all this works, and we'll link it in the show notes for you. If you want to see which district you live in and who will be on your ballot, you can check out the links on the episode page for a sample ballot from the South Carolina Election Commission. All of the details on how these interviews worked are at the end of the episode and in the show notes. But in short, know that each candidate had the same 3 questions and 10 timed minutes to respond. To find links to each candidate's campaign information, please check the show notes. Today, we feature candidates for the Republican primary for Greenville County Council District 28, Kellett and Kyle Long. First up alphabetically is Kellett. I'm pleased to be joined by Kellett, who is running for Greenville County Council District 28 in the Republican primary. Thanks so much for being here, Alan.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. I really do appreciate the opportunity.
Tell us about yourself and why you're running for this office.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of Greenville County. I was born and raised here. I operate a farm in Simpsonville. It's a 3rd-generation farm that we have down there. We raise Pole Hereford beef cattle and do a custom hay baling operation. I've served the community throughout the years in several different roles, none of them being elected. I've served on FFA advisory boards for several high schools and Greenville County schools. Actually served Greenville County in implementing the agricultural zoning district. I was one of the advisors on that when it was first brought in. I've served the Greenville County Farm Bureau for about 18 years as vice president and as president for a long time, and resigned that position when I wanted to run for public service. I ran for South Carolina House District 28 State House 2 years ago, came up a little bit short, and just always want to help people. That's just the farmer in me. We help everybody. And I love helping my neighbors. I love going out and meeting people and new aspects of looking at things. And I just want to see this county do great things in the future.
Thank you. What do you believe are the biggest issues facing constituents?
Well, right now, overdevelopment and lack of infrastructure. Greenville has grown crazy fast, and our infrastructure and roads have not. And, I'm not against development by any means. I'm for smart development, but we need to kind of let this infrastructure catch up to itself. And all that plays into a quality of life issue. You got a bad quality of life if you're stuck in traffic for an hour a day. All that kind of fits together. And with this development too, we can't leave out people's private property rights. We got to respect that, for the folks that have been here for 30 years. And, just developing a comprehensive plan through Greenville County Council, which is coming up in 2 years, They do that every 10 years, and we got 2 more years on this plan. And I don't know about y'all, but Greenville's changed a lot in the past 10 years. So we need to adapt that plan to fit Greenville's future. And we need to be really smart about it. And that's why we need the right people in place at council to make these things happen in the right ways.
Thank you. What would be your priorities if elected?
Um, just pretty much what everybody wants, transparency. They want to know what's going on. People sometimes feel like they don't know what's happening at council and they're not aware of things. And to let the folks know, and not just in District 28, but in every district of county council, because every county councilman is important. They all vote on issues that affect the entire county, not just a district, but to make sure the people know what's going on. And, I commend Councilman Blunt for his newsletter. It's very informative. I subscribe to it right off the bat because it's a great read. And I love reading that every week. And it helps me as a citizen know what's happening in the county. And just to protect our folks that's been here 20 or 30 years, but also ensure some smart, sustainable growth for the county. And, make some smart decision making on the county's budget. Look at things where we can make smarter road and traffic conditions in Greenville County. There's a lot of issues the county has right now. Green Link buses being one of the big ones, and that's going to take some doing, but I think it needs to have a whole revamp to make it work. But those are some of the priorities I would have if I were elected to this seat.
Thank you. We have a little bit more time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with listeners?
Well, just the fact that I'm here. My website is up. Social media sites are going up. We'll start putting signs out in the next week or so. Have a lot of events to go to. I didn't think I was as popular, but evidently I am. So got a lot of events to go to. I'm really looking forward to doing a lot more door knocking in the next couple of weeks and meeting these folks that are from here. They're from New York, from California, from all over the place. And just love talking to folks and meeting them and getting to know them and letting them know who I am and what I stand for. And, the main thing that you can take out of my campaign that for county council is I want to bring common sense leadership and straightforward government to the seat. That's what we're going for.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your willingness to serve.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Next up is Kyle Long. I'm pleased to be joined by Kyle Long, who is a candidate for Greenville County Council, District 28. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me on, Katie.
Great. Tell us about yourself and why you're running for this office.
All right, so I'm Kyle Long. I'm running for Greenville County Council, District 28, and I grew up in Greenville County off of Pelham Road. Going to all the public education systems, riding the bus, playing baseball, wrestling. I graduated from Riverside High School in '93 and graduated from Clemson University in electrical engineering. It took me 6 years to graduate because I had to work a semester and go to school a semester to pay for it. But I learned a lot through that process. And I went off to the Air Force in pilot training in '99 for the United States Air Force. Became a C-130 aircraft commander. I served in both Afghanistan and Iraq. Lots of deployments. Served 20 years in the Air Force and retired as a lieutenant colonel. And now I continue to live out the core values of integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all I do. Of all the places that we've been in the Air Force, we love Greenville the best and wanted to come home and make it our home again. But let me backtrack a little bit to tell you about who I really am. I was saved at age 8 at Brush Creek Baptist Church in Taylor's after a week of vacation Bible school and grew in my faith until college, where I let the world creep in. I grew in pride and selfishness through pilot training until I hit a point where I was about to lose everything that I finally surrendered my life to the Lord I had walked away from. I know that the Lord is real and leading me because the path I was on was leading to destruction, that He set me on a new path and gave me the greatest gift outside Himself, my wife of 25 years, Nicole. We now have Jeremiah, who's 16, Samuel, who's 14, and Elizabeth, who's 4.
Wonderful. What do you believe are the biggest issues facing your constituents?
The reason why I'm running is to make Greenville better for the next generation. So again, we didn't want to live in Charlotte or Atlanta. We wanted to enjoy here, right? So from infrastructure to opportunity, I want to make Greenville better. My constituents already pay too much in taxes. I vow to fight any tax increases. As a constitutional conservative, I understand our tax base is increasing as folks move here. We just need to be good stewards of that money. I will focus on infrastructure. County Council was able to pass a budget that increased infrastructure spending 4 times what it was the previous year. I want to keep that going. If the state wants to offload state roads on Greenville County, then we better get the money for maintenance. Moderating intersections modernizing intersections with sensors will save people gas and time. So as we grow, so does crime. And I want to train and fund and retain good law enforcement officers and deputies. I want to see Sheriff Hobart working well with ICE to get criminal illegal aliens off our streets. And I think I read recently that there is a backlog of almost 20,000 warrants that need to be taken care of. I want to see Greenville Tech become the best way for the next generation to find AI-proof opportunities. I would love to see a partnership with Mike Rowe Works Foundation to offer more work ethic scholarships here locally. I would like to see an increase in co-ops and internships between Greenville Tech and all local businesses. I've worked in big industry, I've worked with medium-sized businesses, and I currently work with 2 small businesses, and I want to make it easier for AI-proof businesses and farms to get started and thrive in Greenville, giving more folks career opportunities because they've developed marketable skills.
What would be your priorities if elected?
First and foremost is going to be communication. I like what has been happening recently on the county council. There's been some really good communication through Substack and weekly, almost like podcasts, where people are giving digestible information to people quickly so they know what's going on and they can kind of chime in on the issues. So communication is going to be key for me. I want to make sure that most people see what's really happening so they can be involved. I've been going door to door recently, getting to know my constituents, knocking and talking. And the best part of that's been kind of getting from them what they're interested in. So it might not necessarily be what I really want to do, but I want to know what my constituents want, and I want to bring that to council. So that's the kind of transparent communication that I want to have and get from my people. The other thing that I'm very interested in is testing everything. Now, I know your user or your listeners cannot see this, but this is a gold Krugerrand. That right now is worth about $4,800, but you wouldn't know that because you haven't tested it yet. You don't know if that's real. Anything that's brought to me, I'm going to make sure I test it to make sure it is, it stands up. I'm going to do my homework. So part of how I'm going to do things is really read everything and know that it's right for my people, my constituents, and make sure that we do the right. People always say, do you do your homework and have you studied? And that's how I'm going to be. I don't know if you guys know this, but for every hour of flight time in an aircraft, you need to have about 5 hours of ground training before you get in the air. Otherwise, you're just not prepared. Most people aren't prepared, and I want to be prepared every time we walk into county council, knowing what's going on and being able to vote well, having discernment on actually what's happening.
Thank you. We have a little bit more time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with listeners?
I'm going to be somebody who's going to stick up for the people that probably haven't felt like their voices have been heard. When I was going around to a couple of the different constituents, they were like, why do I vote way over here in Malden? It doesn't make sense that I can't vote with my neighbors. So I want to listen to concerns like that and bring them to council and see if we can't help people make more sense out of it. They literally lived right next to Bethel Elementary, where that's a voting area, and they have to go all the way down to Malden. So listening to them, making sure that they're being heard, and then taking what I can, making a difference to what they're interested in. So those are going to be some focus areas that I have. I want to make sure that people know that when my yes is going to be yes and my no is going to be no, and so they can trust that. And I really want people to know that We don't need more of the same. We need better.
Well, thank you so much for raising your hand to serve, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the candidates. Here is more detail on our process. All candidates received the same 3 questions at the time of their invitation to join us shortly after the filing period closed, and they were given 10 timed minutes for their interview. Candidates were allowed to bring along a companion, such as a campaign manager, family member, or friend, and to record our session themselves. There were no edits made to the interviews. We've put links to the participating candidates' preferred internet presence on the episode page.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simplecivicsgreenvillecounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.